Delgado, Senior Marketing Director, and we're going to be covering the napkin presentation today. And the purpose of this is to really empower new associates to really go out there within their first day to first week in the business to begin going out there and sharing the message of our company, of who we are and what we do. And the reason why this is going to be such a powerful tool for your business as you're growing is because this business is about saying less to more people. And it can really get someone going faster than having to wait for a field trainer to always be present in order to deliver a formal presentation. This is going to help qualify prospects faster, and I'm going to show you why. And this is going to help people get going faster as far as making money and building their business quicker, because it allows someone to take action almost instantaneously. So let's cover that. Okay, so again, a few points. This is called the napkin presentation, and we call it a napkin because you can literally do it on a napkin. Now I recommend you do it on a yellow legal pad, right? Get a legal pad piece of paper. It's super simple, right? It should take no more than 5 to 10 minutes to do this presentation. Okay, anything more and you're just going too far into it. No more than 5 to 10 minutes. And again, it's an informal presentation. So the purpose of the napkin presentation is just an introduction to who we are and what we do. And the outcome should lead to the formal presentation. Now, the formal presentation can be your weekly corporate overview, your business presentation meeting at your local office, where the person you show this to will then be intrigued or interested enough to want to learn more, and then come down to the local overview on a Tuesday night and see the formal presentation where we go much more in depth about who we are, what we do, and what we can offer somebody. Okay, if they cannot make the overview, then you're going to get together with them at your office or their home with both husband and wife present, and you'll bring your mentor, your upline leadership, who can deliver a formal presentation. And this is going to work brilliantly. Okay, so let's go ahead and break it down. So this is exactly what you're going to do. Okay, so here we go. This is a napkin presentation, and I have some questions that you're specifically going to ask that I want you to duplicate. All right, so here we go. So you pull out a scratch piece of paper and you're going to draw a T just like this. Okay, so first things first. You're showing someone what you're doing. So here we go. Okay, John. So 98% of people in this country make $250,000 or less. About 98%. Okay? Hopefully you can see that there. And the first question you're going to ask is, John, what types of accounts do 98% of people save money in? What types of accounts do 98% of people save money in? And they might tell you, well, it's a savings account. Exactly. So you're going to write down banks. Okay, so 98% of people typically will put money in banks. And in banks, you have different types of accounts, such as checking accounts. Okay, and checking accounts, you earn pretty much 0%. Savings accounts, the national average is about 0.2%. Other types of instruments that you can save at a bank are money market accounts. I just draw MM there. And the average right now national across the country is about 1%. Or you can get a certificate of deposit, also known as a CD. And again, the average there is about 1%. Okay? Very important question you want to ask here. John, is the cost of living going up or down? John, is the cost of living going up or down? And as much as I've done this, everybody will tell you the same thing. It's going up. And it's absolutely true. So you say, yep, John, that's absolutely true. The cost of living is going up. And the cost of living also has an interest rate. And we're looking about close to 4%. That's also called inflation. Inflation is the term for it, the rising cost of living. So sometimes people may not understand what you're saying when you talk about inflation. So one simple example you can say is, John, if you don't understand what inflation is, for example, what did a soda cost in a vending machine 10 years ago? And they might say, I don't know, 50 cents, 75 cents. Yeah, about right, 50 to 75 cents. What does it cost today in 2015? And they might say, oh wow, $1.50, I've seen them $2, $2.25 in some places. Exactly, that's inflation, right? That means that what we used to purchase for a certain price 5, 10 years ago to now purchase the same thing is now a higher price. That's the cost of living, okay? Does that make sense? And I always use that question, does that make sense? Because you want to ensure that your prospect is tracking, that the information you're giving them, they are understanding and processing, okay? And they'll say, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, great. So the cost of living is 4%, John. Now, if most people put money in a savings account and you're earning 0.2%, but the cost of living is 4%, you're losing money. Negative 3.8%. Now, I want to make it clear that you're not losing money like a stock market crash where you're actually losing account value. So if you had $5,000 in a savings account, you would still have $5,000. However, what you're losing is purchasing power. Your dollar is being devalued because 0.2% does not keep up with 4%. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay, great. Now, the top 2% of the country make $250,000 or more per year as far as income. Now, John, have you ever heard of companies like Merrill Lynch or Morgan Stanley, or let's say another one, Charles Schwab? And they might say yes. Okay, great. Now, these are great companies, very strong and powerful companies. But which side of the fence do these companies tend to focus on for their clients? And your prospect may say, you know what, they're going to focus here. And I always ask why. Why do they focus there? And the common answer I get, which is pretty common sense, is because that's where the money is. Exactly. This is capitalism 101. It's what drives behavior, right? So that's where the money's at. And as a result of that, these companies focus here, $250,000 or more per year, and they teach these people how to invest in stocks, bonds, mutual funds. You can also put real estate there because you have real estate investors. And what the market has done on average over periods of time is anywhere between 6% to 12% interest rate as far as performance. Now notice how 6 to 12%, which is average over periods of time in the stock market, is higher than 4%, which is the cost of living. So my point, John, is that the stock market is designed to outpace inflation. When the stock market performs less than inflation, that's called recession. And what that means is when the cost of living is beating everybody, that means nobody's making money. And that's what a stock market crash is like. But the stock market is designed to outpace inflation. Now, John, does that make sense? And I would say, yes, it does. Okay. So common sense is, let's say you earn 12% on your money, but the cost of living is 4%, as I mentioned before. So the cost of living affects everybody, both upper class, lower class. So if you're earning 12% on your money and the cost of living is 4%, you're still earning 8% after inflation is taken out, vice negative 4%. This is why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. You say it just like that. This is why the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. So what we do here, John, is we help everybody. However, our company's mission is to go focus on where the help is most needed, which is that 98%, which is traditionally overlooked by our industry. So what we do here at Difference Financial, what I'm so passionate about, is that we help families on this side. That's where we focus on, and we help them get to this side. And how do we do that? we focus on education. We want to teach people how money works. Do you see the value in this idea? I want you to ask that question just like that. Do you see the value in this idea? Yes. Here's another great thing you can say. Earning higher interest than the cost of living makes sense, doesn't it? And that's a question that's going to demand a yes answer. And that's called a tie down. Earning a higher interest than the cost of living, John, just makes sense, doesn't it? Yes, that's called a tie down. If people knew how to do this, how many people would take advantage of that? I want you to ask that question just like that. If people knew how to do this, how many people would take advantage of that? And the answers I get is everybody. Exactly. And basically what that's telling you is that they see the value, they understand that being over here is better, and if they knew how to do that, of course they would take advantage of that. So that is guiding your prospect into the close, which I'm going to share with you here, right? So John, and just wrapping this up, just a couple questions. What we do here as a company is we help people go from this side to that side over the next 20 to 30 years, and I write that down, 20 to 30 years, through a client process that is 100% complimentary, meaning we don't charge. Okay, we set up a plan to help people go from this side to that side over the next 20 to 30 years through a client process that's entirely complimentary. Or we also help people go from here to here over the next 5 to 7 years by teaching them how to build a business that can go out there and help people do this through entrepreneurship. And I write down business. I know it's kind of getting hard to see over here. So I guess my question to you, John, is which one of these interests you more? The client side or the business side or both? And you just stay silent. John, which one interests you more? The client side, the business side, or both? Now, based on what they tell you, is going to be based on how you're going to lead them to the next step. So if they say the client side, say, great, well, what I like to do is I'm still in the training phase. I'm still brand new. I like to set up a time to get with my mentor, my business partner. His name is Mike Gonzalez. And we can come to either your home and sit down with you and your wife and go through the complimentary process and kind of go a little bit more in depth. Or you can come to our local office and we can meet there. We have some availability this upcoming Wednesday or Friday. Which one of those days works better for you? We have a 2 o'clock and a 4 o'clock. You're going to go ahead and schedule that time. If they're interested in learning more about the business, you can invite them to the next corporate overview. So if they say, you know what, I'm interested in both or the business, say, great. This upcoming Tuesday from 6:45 p.m. to 8 p.m., we're having a corporate overview where my mentor or the senior market director on our company, his name is Carlos Salgado, he's going to be going more in detail on how to actually build this as a business. And he'll be talking and sharing some ideas there. I can reserve a seat for you and your wife if you'd like. It's just education. Would that be something you'd be interested in? Sure. Great. I'll put you down for 2 seats. Okay, so either way, the whole purpose of the napkin presentation is to, again, number one, get to the next appointment, whether it's a one-on-one in their home with both husband and wife present, and then you bring a more seasoned, experienced field trainer, your trainer, who can take them through the client process entirely, or you invite them down to the upcoming corporate overview where they can learn more in depth about our business and how the compensation works as a business model. Either way, this can empower somebody right away to start taking action in their business. I'm talking day one. Now, will it take a few repetitions of you practicing this? Sure, that's why we're making this on video. And this is going to make such a difference for you in your business because it's about taking action. You have to take action and you have to go out there and share the story. Now, we're about 15 minutes into this video, but if I was doing this quickly, I can do this in about 5 to 7 minutes tops, right? And that's what we want you to do. This is going to help, this is going to alleviate bottlenecks in your business, and it's going to teach new associates that within the first few days in the business, they can go out there and virtually sit with their warm market, and qualify that. And plus it gives them experience on how to go out there and start building relationships and sharing our story. I hope you got a ton of value from this. I'm excited to see who's going to actually take action with this and make it and implement it in their business, and watch within a matter of 3 months how this is going to change someone's business dramatically. You're going to go from, if you're just you watching this right now, you're going to go to about 10, 15 licensed agents within 90 days to 4 months by just going radical with this thing. Appreciate you guys. We'll continue on with the training.